kind of shit is that? Most people want to borrow sugar, or even ketchup.
What if I told you that behind the laughs, the neighborhood vibes, and those unforgettable one-liners in Friday, the cast was hiding stories you've probably never heard? The 1995 cult classic didn't just change comedy, it shaped careers, sparked drama, and even carried secrets that fans are still shocked to discover decades later. From shocking casting choices to personal struggles on set, the story of this film goes way deeper than the jokes. And now, the cast of Friday 1995 reveals what most fans never discovered. Chris Tucker was almost not cast as Smokey.
Hold up, my mom's in there.
When people talk about Friday 1995, Chris Tucker's performance as Smokey always takes center stage. His fast-talking energy, hilarious one-liners, and unforgettable laugh turned him into a cultural icon. But what most fans never discovered is that Tucker was dangerously close to never being cast at all. At the time, he was a newcomer, just a 22-year-old comedian with very little acting experience. Hollywood wasn't looking at him as leading material, and the studio had its doubts. In fact, DJ Pooh, who co-wrote Friday with Ice Cube, originally wanted to play Smokey himself. Producers also had bigger names in mind, actors who already had recognition. But Ice Cube believed in Tucker's raw talent. He pushed for him, insisting that his energy was exactly what the film needed. Tucker came into the audition and immediately lit up the room with his natural charisma. Once he landed the role, he didn't just read the script, he elevated it. Many of Smokey's funniest lines were improvised, born from Tucker's quick wit on set. He was paid very little for the part, reportedly around $10,000, but the role launched his career in a massive way. Without Chris Tucker, Friday wouldn't have had the same spark. His performance gave the film its heartbeat and transformed it from a small comedy into a cultural phenomenon. Looking back, it's almost impossible to imagine anyone else as Smokey, but the truth is, fans nearly missed out on seeing Tucker in the role that defined his career. Tiny Zeus Lister's intensity on set.
What's up, Smoke?
Debo is one of the most feared movie characters of the 1990 seconds, and his presence in Friday 1995 made the story unforgettable. What many fans never discovered is how much of that terrifying presence came directly from Tiny Zeus Lister himself. Lister, known for his background as a professional wrestler, approached the role with incredible seriousness. On set, he often stayed in character, keeping the same intimidating stare and body language even when cameras weren't rolling. Cast members later revealed that it wasn't just acting. Lister's size and intensity created a real sense of unease, especially for younger actors who felt like Debo was truly living among them. Ice Cube once mentioned that Lister's glare could silence an entire set, and that energy translated perfectly on screen. Yet behind that rough exterior, Lister was the complete opposite of his character. Offset, he was deeply spiritual, kind-hearted, and loved joking around with the cast once filming wrapped. That contrast is what made his performance so memorable. Fans only see the bike-stealing, neighborhood bullying menace, but behind the scenes, the cast revealed that his discipline and method-like approach gave Debo his legendary edge. It wasn't just about acting tough, it was about embodying a character so fully that audiences forgot it was fiction. To this day, Debo stands as one of the most iconic villains in comedy history, and that's because Tiny Lister blurred the line between who he was and who Debo was meant to be. Ice Cube wrote the script in just a few weeks.
Big it is.
Fans know Ice Cube as the star of Friday 1995, but what most people never discovered is that he was also the driving force behind the story. Along with his friend DJ Pooh, Ice Cube wrote the script in just a few short weeks. At the time, Cube had already transitioned from rap into acting with roles like Boys in the Hood, but he wanted to show another side of life in South Central Los Angeles. Instead of focusing on violence, he and DJ Pooh aimed to highlight humor, friendship, and the everyday struggles of the neighborhood. The cast later revealed that much of the script's magic came from real-life experiences both Cube and Pooh had growing up. Even though the writing process was fast, the details felt authentic because they were pulled straight from reality. The film's laid-back pace, where most of the story happens on a single front porch, came directly from those personal memories. The studio originally didn't believe the script had much potential, but Cube's vision was clear. He wanted a comedy that still reflected truth. That balance between laughter and honesty is what turned Friday into a classic. For fans, it feels effortless. But behind the scenes, the cast has shared that Cube's determination to finish the script quickly and keep it real is what made the film timeless. It wasn't just a funny story. It was a snapshot of a culture that deserved to be seen on screen. The movie was filmed in only 20 days.
What's up, big perm? Big worm?
If you ain't got my money, I'm killing you.
One of the wildest facts that fans of Friday 1995 never discovered is just how quickly the entire movie was filmed. While most Hollywood productions take months, sometimes even years, Friday was shot in only 20 days. That's less than 3 weeks to capture what would become one of the most beloved comedies of all time. The cast later revealed that the tight schedule forced them to work long hours under intense conditions. The neighborhood where the film was shot was real, and many of the houses were filled with locals who would sometimes watch the filming unfold right outside their windows. With so little time, there was almost no room for mistakes. Scenes had to be done efficiently, and many moments relied on the actors' ability to improvise to keep things moving. Chris Tucker's energy, Ice Cube's calm presence, and Tiny Lister's intensity all blended in a way that made the movie feel effortless, even though behind the scenes, the pressure was very real. What's most surprising is that despite the short schedule, the cast and crew managed to create a film that still feels fresh. Nearly 3 decades later, fans only see the smooth pacing and natural flow, but the truth is, Friday was a race against the clock. The cast has admitted that they didn't even realize at the time how special it was becoming. They were just trying to get it all filmed before time ran out. Most of the film was shot on one street.
Damn!
Look, she bending over.
Hi, Miss Parker.
When fans watch Friday 1995, it feels like the entire neighborhood comes alive with characters, stories, and unforgettable moments. But what most fans never discovered is that nearly the whole film was shot on just one street in Los Angeles. The producers didn't have a huge budget to work with, so they had to make every location count. That single block became the entire world of Craig and Smokey, turning one neighborhood into an iconic piece of movie history. Cast members later revealed how strange it was to film everything in such a small space because they spent nearly all their time outdoors in the blazing California Sunday. Local residents would often peek out of their windows, and some even joined as extras in the background. What's incredible is how that one street captured the vibe of an entire community, making the film feel authentic to anyone who grew up in similar neighborhoods. The familiarity of the front porch, the constant presence of neighbors, and even Debo riding his bike down the block all added to the sense of realism. The cast often joked that the street itself became a character, shaping the atmosphere of the movie just as much as any actor. It showed how a simple setting could be transformed into something unforgettable. Without that one block, Friday might not have had the same charm, proving that even with limited resources, creativity and authenticity can turn simplicity into cinematic magic. The cast was paid surprisingly little.
I'm used to stealing. Get in, get out.
Fans often assume that because Friday 1995 became such a massive success, the actors must have been well compensated. But what most people never discovered is how little the cast actually earned during filming. Chris Tucker has openly shared that he was paid only about $10,000 for his iconic role as Smokey. Other cast members weren't making much more either, since the movie's budget was tight and the studio didn't believe it would become a hit. At the time, none of the actors complained, because for many, it was a stepping stone in their careers. They were more focused on the exposure and the chance to be part of something unique. Ice Cube, already an established star, didn't take a massive paycheck either. His priority was making sure the film got made. The cast later revealed that they didn't feel cheated because the experience and the cultural impact were priceless. Still, looking back, it's surprising to know that one of the most quoted comedies of the 1990 seconds was powered by performances that barely earned the actors more than a modest salary. For fans, this hidden truth adds another layer of respect for the cast. They gave their best not for the money, but for the art. Their commitment paid off in ways far bigger than a paycheck, as the movie went on to define careers, inspire sequels, and remain a staple in pop culture nearly 30 years later. DJ Pooh was supposed to play Smokey.
Ain't like you got shit to do tomorrow. You don't have to go to work. Don't take it easy.
One of the wildest behind-the-scenes facts about Friday 1995 that most fans never discovered is that Smokey, the role that made Chris Tucker a star, was never meant for him at all. DJ Pooh, who co-wrote the script with Ice Cube, originally intended to play Smokey himself. Pooh wasn't just a writer, he was a DJ, producer, and comedian who had the energy to bring Smokey to life. But as the project developed, Ice Cube began to feel that while Pooh was funny, the role needed someone with a different kind of spark to truly steal the show. That's when Chris Tucker entered the picture, and the rest is history. The cast later revealed that this decision completely changed the direction of the film. Tucker's comedic timing, his non-stop chatter, and his infectious laugh turned Smokey into an unforgettable character. Pooh stepped back from the role, showing how much he cared about the movie's success over his own spotlight. What makes this story even more surprising is that if Pooh had kept the role, Friday would have been a completely different movie. Fans might never have heard the hilarious lines that Tucker delivered so effortlessly or seen Smokey's wild energy light up the screen. It shows how one casting decision can change everything. Tucker's rise to stardom, the film's comedic punch, and its lasting cultural impact all trace back to this turning point when DJ Pooh gave up the chance to play Smokey and allowed the role to find its perfect match. The studio didn't believe in the film.
Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me.
The studio didn't believe in the film. Looking at the way fans still quote Friday 1995 nearly 30 years later, it's shocking to learn that the studio behind the movie didn't believe in it. New Line Cinema thought the film was too small, too simple, and unlikely to connect with audiences outside Los Angeles. They gave Ice Cube and his team a very modest budget and planned only a limited release. The cast later revealed that this lack of faith pushed them even harder to make the film stand out. They knew they didn't have fancy sets, big-name stars, or flashy production value, but what they did have was authenticity. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh had written a story that spoke directly to their community, and the cast brought it to life with passion. When Friday was finally released, it didn't explode immediately, but word of mouth turned it into a sleeper hit. Fans connected to the humor, the relatability, and the fresh perspective it offered. Over time, it grew into a cultural landmark, inspiring sequels, spin-offs, and countless imitations. What's most surprising is how wrong the studio was. They saw Friday as just another small comedy, but audiences saw it as a mirror of real life and a celebration of culture. For fans today, knowing this hidden truth makes the film even more impressive. It wasn't just created against the odds, it thrived in spite of being doubted. That struggle only adds to its legacy as one of the greatest comedies of the 1990 seconds. The film launched multiple careers.
I gotta think of a way to get this money back to Mama. I gotta think of a way to get...
Friday 1995 didn't just make audiences laugh, it launched a wave of careers that shaped Hollywood for years to come. Chris Tucker, of course, became a household name thanks to his unforgettable performance as Smokey, but he wasn't the only one. Nia Long, who played Debbie, was already known from television, but Friday gave her a platform that helped her land bigger roles in films like Love Jones and The Best Man. Regina King, who had a smaller role as Craig's sister Dana, later became one of the most respected actresses of her generation, winning awards for both television and film. Even supporting players like Faizon Love, who played Big Worm, found their visibility boosted after the movie. The cast later revealed that none of them imagined at the time how important Friday would become for their careers. They were simply focused on making a good movie, not realizing they were stepping into history. The film's success proved that there was a huge audience for authentic stories about everyday life in Black communities, and Hollywood started paying attention. What fans may not have discovered is how much this small, low-budget project became a springboard for talent that would dominate the industry for decades. Looking back, it's clear that Friday wasn't just a comedy, it was a launchpad, opening doors for actors who would later define an era. For the cast, that surprise success remains one of the film's greatest hidden rewards. Deleted scenes and lost footage exist.
Been trying to tell your ass that Dad ain't my cousin. He in the back.
Every fan of Friday 1995 knows the movie's funniest lines by heart. But what most people never discovered is that there are deleted scenes and lost footage that never made it to the final cut. Because the film was shot on such a tight schedule and budget, the editing process had to be fast and decisive. As a result, several scenes, some featuring extended moments with Smokey, Big Worm, and even Debo, were cut out. Cast members have spoken about how some of Chris Tucker's wildest improvisations never made it into the finished film, simply because the movie needed to stay within its runtime. Over the years, fans have caught glimpses of these lost moments through behind-the-scenes interviews and rare clips, but many are still unreleased. This hidden material adds a sense of mystery to a film that already feels like a time capsule of the 1,990 seconds. The cast revealed that some of their favorite memories were from those cut scenes, moments of laughter and chemistry that audiences never got to experience. While the final movie is already considered perfect by many fans, knowing that there's more out there makes it even more intriguing. It's a reminder that Friday was filled with so much creativity and energy that not all of it could fit on screen. For fans, this truth adds another layer of fascination, because if the unseen footage is as good as the movie itself, then the world has only experienced part of what the cast brought to life on that one unforgettable block. Nearly 3 decades later, Friday 1995 still makes fans laugh like it did on opening day. But now you know the untold truths the cast revealed, secrets that made this film more than just a comedy. From casting twists to lost footage, the story behind Friday is just as legendary as what we saw on screen. And it makes you wonder how many other classics are hiding stories we've never heard. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden gems, don't let it stop here. Hit that like button, share this video with fellow fans, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories. The laughs might have started on one small block in South Central, but the legacy of Friday will keep living on as long as we keep the conversation alive.